Good morning. So it looks like it was quite the day to open up after we did this last night. So yeah, looking at the market here on the daily, you can see it just clearly just opened up past all these resistance gaps. So this little purple line was broken. These three little supports were broke. So yeah, I mean, looks like it was quite the move to the downside. It's tough to predict that kind of stuff without the pre-market data, and if you don't have stop losses already set up, if you didn't already have it set that sell TD at 72.65, then you can't really avoid these kind of things when the market opens and how much of a gap is this? The market opened today and it's already down. It's not very good. 2 or 3%. Sorry if I'm mumbling here. I'm just kind of waking up, having a coffee. Yeah, 3%. It's already down, so that's like some of the losses here. So now I'm not gonna panic sell out of this place because that's where sometimes you can lose money. So all these now, these places are gonna be served as resistance, so they're gonna have to break through here if it does come back up. But you can see it's somewhat supported by this bottom channel. So this is kind of the last little hope here for me. Not that I'd really want to have to come and sell for a loss like this, but I guess you have to somewhat disrespect the trend. The trend is your friend until the end. So if this trend is broken, I mean, there's no real point unless you want to emotionally hold down up into these levels. Um, some other places right here, I mean, it might get stopped at 65, 60. The round numbers can make a good resistance point, but we'll see what the day does. But yeah, it's definitely making me a little bit more hesitant about this. It's kind of sucks, but what do? You gotta just react to the market. So I don't think it's quite time to sell yet, but it's definitely time to watch very closely and see if this can start turning around. So this just went down. What we're gonna be looking for is a flattening out here of the momentum. Switch to a 4 hour time frame just to get a little bit better idea within the day. So if we look at this even right now, we can see that it's dipped down a little bit further to 69, 78. So this might just be a kind of a bounce down and it gets caught here. Then we have a little recovery. But time will tell with this kind of stuff. So with the momentum, with this MACD here, I mean, it's quite the sharp drop. I mean, you can see it right there. I mean, when it opens and it drops down, you can just see the angle of these. When you see the angle, pretty steep. It's not very good, but yeah, could have been looking here a little bit shorter time frame. But if we look at the bigger swings, it might not be as significant. So since we're not trading and selling every week, we can look at it right here. And I guess this is where if you have money, it's a pretty good place to buy. If 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 it's just all scare and it's just a shakeout, like this is where if you buy right here, you can always just resell it if it breaks down. But this is when you can start kind of buying low and selling high, and not buy high and sell low when you get scared it's going to go down. Which is what everyone does because that's the emotion comes in, right? The emotion comes in, and all of a sudden it's not getting supported by any of this stuff. Oh no, what's going on? How much money am I going to lose? It broke $70. What in the carnation are we going to do? Well, this might be a pretty good place to buy actually. Especially when you start looking at these shorter time frames, so you can start seeing if it's going to be supported and potentially make a comeback here, reversal. I mean, I'm not really looking at the global news as much, but it seems like they're still talking about that coronavirus and all this other crap. So I'm sure that's not doing good for it all. But you can see, yeah, quite the sharp decline. So in the next throughout the day, I'm not going to sell quite today, but yeah, we want to see this not keep going down in an increasing severity. So that's quite the angle. Want to start seeing this round out and then come back up. Even if it's going to be, let's say, a consistent move to the downside. Let's say that let's just create a couple of hypothetical situations here and make a plan. Make a plan for each one of them. Get out of here. Sorry. So, seeing as it has broken down here, we got two options, right? I mean, it's either gonna continue to the downside, or else it's gonna get supported, and then it's gonna keep on going up along this channel. Now, in either case, I mean, these bigger trends should be supported by the longer time frames. So if you look to the month, there's no clear break in the trend. And usually before you get all zealous, like right here, you want to see what it finishes at. Because if you sold right here, you sold right here, sold right here, sold in all these wicks, you'd be pretty upset. So you kind of want to see where the candle ends after the month. That's what matters more than the wicks. Like the wicks can give you suggestibility that, I mean, there's pressure to go down, but that's not always how it works. So yeah, so the month time frame, it doesn't look that bad, you know. It doesn't look like panic to be had, but you can see that it's below here, so it could possibly very well kind of keep below this little spot for a bit and then come back up. I mean, or is this the top of the mountain? Just like right here, where there's a clear coming here. So if we start seeing this orange line start approximating this white line on a monthly time frame, like if this starts, let's say hypothetically, continuing along like this with that kind of curve, I mean, it's not a great sign because pretty much you're going to get that crossing, and then if that's the case, it's a lot of downward pressure, downward sell side. Um, so what's all this rambling mean? Basically means that it's going to be a wait and see. I just probably want to check out the weekly here, and yeah, now we can see this weekly candle. Um, Quite the monster down, but look at these monster ones. They're usually followed by another big green one. So you gotta just react accordingly. I mean, let's say hypothetically that it does break down. I mean, it might be, and it closes, and there's clear confirmation that it's not gonna go, it's not going the way we want. That's where sometimes you just gotta take your losses, but you don't want to just ideal. You don't want to just fly in there and be selling as soon as you get a little fear, and then buying when you think you're gonna miss out. It's not very good for making money over the long term. So I think it's gonna be safe to say if we move down into this region with some confirmation, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea to be holding on for too long. When I say with confirmation, I means that red candle stays here and we move down and we start hovering into this range. then it's not as bullish as it has been. I mean, then it might be time for a significant market correction. Um, it's not completely crazy. I mean, this would be the next support at 65 bucks right here. That'd be the next one. But seeing as that we broke some of this stuff here, like there's not much for support. I mean, $70 flat is going to be something. So if it breaks concisely down below $70, like it's not, in my opinion, it's not going to be very good. So right there, I can draw another little support. You can see it's right there. It's more like the base of it. We got a couple little wicks touching here, and yeah, maybe it'll serve as some other type of support. So right now, there's no real reason to keep all these little markers. Now we broke that; they're not that significant. I'd say we have this one right here, pretty much $70, 69.50. Really hoping that doesn't drop below that, um, especially not close. So we'll see what the day ends, see what the week ends, but if it gets into this range and it's week after week it starts trickling down, yeah, man, yeah. That's why you do this kind of stuff. So hopefully you can save a couple $1,000, not widen that out. Um, so here we go. We go back to the day frame, and yeah, we'll see what this closes at. I mean, realistically, you could hold on to it right until this point, but I mean, that's a pretty big drop in a few moments, right? I mean, this February 20th to the 25th, and we're down $10. I guess like we could kind of see that, right? We've seen the triangle here. We can see it consolidating within this thing, and usually it might go to the end and make a choice to move up or down. We kind of seen that volume was in general declining, and that's where you can say it's going to be a big move. It's tough to say which way it's going to go. Ideally, you would have suspected that trend to move up, but it's you can almost say lower highs and higher lows, and it creates this fork, and it's tough to make those predictions. So with the TD Bank, yeah, I mean that's what I'm going to do here today. I mean, just kind of watch and observe, make a general plan, sit tight or to hold on. I mean, these would be your other ones. I mean, if we want to be really digging your heels and you're just going to hold on, I mean, these are some other points, like 61 would be the next marker that we're going to have some resistance. 65. So yeah, is it really worth holding it down each one of these steps? I mean, when it goes down, something like that, it's almost guaranteed. So I wouldn't just panic sell any of this stuff. Just seeing if any of these fib ratios are significant. Not too much, it's getting too blurry. So yeah, a lot of these TD breaks that, makes a lower, well, we can see this. I mean, it still could be considered in this grander trend. If it hits right here and corrects, it'd still be okay. Um, Makes a lower low. I mean, that would be for sure if it breaks below the 65. It's not good news. Not good news at all. And just come out of this one, and let's go back to this monthly setting. We can see that the momentum, it's built up over months, months, months up to the pinnacle right here. And yeah, like that's the last bear market right here. And we're kind of, we just crossed that support like we were talking. So yeah, it's not the best, but let's check on the weekly frame here. So the weekly had had its low and it kind of shown sign of reversal. So now it's just puttering around. Nothing too clear right now. It's a lot spotty up and down. So it's on the verge of making a decision here for the one way or another. But I think it's time to sit and observe for a moment before you make any sudden decisions. But as I'm talking, I think a lot of people are feeling that pressure, that sell pressure right now. So it's broken right down out of here, and yeah, can only imagine what a what a decline for one day may be. But that's where it's good to have those sell stop losses to set up all the time. You can set them up forever, right? So I could say sell TD at $65. I mean, that'd be a great play right now, but you can basically set it up to sell so that when it sleeps and when it does all this crap overnight, where it just loses 3, 4, 5 bucks, 10% overnight, and you're just like you're just sitting there kind of lost. And what are you gonna do? You can't do nothing. So that's where you have to set these sell orders before. So yeah, well, I guess we'll see what the day brings. I mean, it's definitely looking scary, but sometimes they can come and hit a brick wall down here. So it's nothing we haven't seen before. But yeah, quite the notable break. Anyway, thought I'd give you a little update here. You can see this price bouncing all over the place. So this is time to take the emotion out of the equation and just look at it objectively. And objectively speaking, on a monthly time frame, like we're still in the channel. I mean, the channel is pretty big on that monthly time frame, and we just broke out of that weekly channel. But just delete this. Not necessarily. I mean, we haven't clearly broke out of it, but if we do, if we start clearly breaking out of it and start forming candles, let's say in the 68, 66, $65 range, I mean, we're either looking for, a nice bounce back out of that or a pretty good breakdown. And yeah, you can see that how it typically runs. We have this little downside momentum, and then we have the stop, and then we have the upside. So might have a good potential buy zone coming in TD. Let's say we can't look at this all negatively, but like right in here, ideally, let's say we probably should have sold right here. Like I mean, if we were smart, if we were watching this with a little bit more etiquette, like right here at $80, right here, we seen it cross over. We should have sold right there because now we're coming down, just like up here. We could have sold at $57, and we would have rode it all the way down. We could have bought back in. Fall. That's a square. It's pretty much the same if you don't catch it at the bottom here, but you can kind of see how people sell at the highs and buy at the lows, and these little lines and indicators can make a nice little thing here. The volume's pretty consistent overall. Couple spikes. Lots on the monthly frame. And yeah, we're definitely just kind of hovering around with that sharp spike down here, but there's been sharp spikes before, only to get caught. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but beware. Yeah, right. I mean, it's time to look at this and then the overall market. So that's where the whole market, right? I mean, it's not just this. This is the Dow Jones Industrial. So this is where people in the traditional markets are probably going to be sweating a little bit more. Woo! 7%? That's a red one. That's a scary one right there. So, hmm. So yeah, I'm not too sure like with the whole overall. I mean, even something like the gold ETF kind of had a bad day. Even silver's going down. Like this gold's going up. Means there's fear in the market. We got some fear. Got some fear. Texas diamond mine. Well, it's all over the place still, but you can kind of see right here, same kind of thing. Is the momentum done? Is it gonna putter off? Should it be a sell? Well then, yeah, you can kind of see how that can work. Oh man, looks like good old Gene has finally croaked. Went belly up. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. And here's old Bitcoin here. So you can see that it's still looking okay, but it's starting to curl down too as well. So Bitcoin's almost going to that opposite one. So we're going down and we're looking for a break up to the other side. So you can see it's still within this channel. It hasn't broken out. You can see it's almost forming this little triangle here. And the volume's getting smaller. This is still a good time to buy in my opinion. You know, probably perfect time to accumulate. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna cut this one off here. Stay safe out there. You have a good day. Make sure to cover your losses, okay? But yeah, this is kind of stuff what they make people sell their stuff. So it's tough to take that emotion out of it, but see what the day brings. All right, talk to you later. Bye bye.